I stared at her, my pulse hammering in my ears. 4 years. Not once. Not twice. But over and over again. My fingers curled into fists beneath the table, nails digging into my palms, the only thing keeping me grounded as the weight of her words pressed down on me. You were bored, I echoed, my voice barely above a whisper. Emma nodded slowly, eyes flickering toward her wine glass as if searching for refuge. I don't know how else to explain it. Everything felt predictable. The same conversations. The same routines. I needed something different. My chest tightened. So, instead of talking to me, you decided to screw other men? She flinched but didn't look away. I didn't plan for it to happen. I laughed, the sound bitter and hollow. Didn't plan for it? You just accidentally slept with someone? And then decided to keep doing it for 4 years. Emma set her glass down carefully, her fingers trembling. I know it sounds awful. It is awful, I snapped, cutting her off. My chair scraped against the hardwood as I pushed back, needing distance. The room suddenly felt too small, suffocating. How many? Her jaw clenched. Does it matter? Rage boiled inside me. How many? I demanded, my voice rising. She hesitated. 5. A strangled sound tore from my throat. I turned away, pacing, hands threading through my hair. Every second I stood there, breathing the same air as her, felt like a betrayal of myself. I spun back toward her. Who were they? Emma sighed, rubbing her temples. 2 were co-workers. 1 was someone I met at a conference. The other 2 were random. Random. The word tasted like poison. So you were just out there, what? Picking up strangers for fun. I don't expect you to understand, she said softly. My laugh was sharp, laced with disbelief. Understand? Emma, I thought we were happy. I thought we were building a life together. She blinked rapidly, her breath unsteady. We were. But something was missing. My stomach churned. I had spent years loving this woman, sacrificing for her, thinking we were in this together. And now she sat there, calmly telling me that my love hadn't been enough. I swallowed hard, voice hoarse. Do you love me? Her. Felt predictable. Our life, our routine, even us. I never stopped loving you, but I craved something different, something exciting. Her words twisted in my gut like a serrated blade. Predictable. Exciting. Wasn't love supposed to be steady, reliable, built on trust? Had I been nothing more than a placeholder, a background character in the life she sought to escape? I pushed my chair back, the legs scraping against the hardwood floor. The sound cut through the silence like a gunshot. So, what now? My voice was hoarse, raw. You confess, and then what? I just accept it. Pretend it never happened. Emma flinched, but she didn't look away. I don't know, she admitted. I don't expect you to forgive me. I couldn't keep lying anymore. A humorless laugh tore from my throat. Lying was never the problem for you, Emma. It was getting caught. Her lips parted as if to protest, but she said nothing. Maybe because she knew I was right. I turned away, needing distance, space to think. My head swam with memories tainted by her betrayal. The weekend trips she'd insisted were girls only. The nights she'd come home late, blaming deadlines and last-minute projects. The way she'd seemed distant sometimes, her mind somewhere else. Someone else. I need to know everything, I said, gripping the edge of the counter, my knuckles turning white. How many? Who were they? She hesitated before answering. It wasn't about them. I never got emotionally attached. It was just physical. I spun to face her. That's supposed to make me feel better. No, she whispered. But it's the truth. I scoffed. Truth? Now you care about the truth. Her shoulders slumped, and for the first time since her confession, she looked ashamed. But it was too little, too late. I needed more. Answers. Details. I needed to understand how the woman I had loved, trusted, built a life with, had spent 4 years sneaking behind my back. What about our anniversary last year? My voice was quieter now, Dangerously so. The weekend we went to the lake house. Her eyes squeezed shut. I saw someone the day before we left. My stomach lurched. That weekend, I had held her close, kissed her under the stars, whispered promises of forever. And all along, she had been carrying the touch of another man. I shook my head. Unbelievable. I never wanted to hurt you, she murmured. I let out a bitter chuckle. You didn't just hurt me, Emma. You destroyed everything. She reached for me, but I stepped back. Please, she begged. I know I don't deserve it, but I need to fix this. I exhaled sharply, the weight of her words pressing down on me. You can't fix this. You can't take back the last 4 years. Tears welled in her eyes, but I refused to let them sway me. She had stolen something from me, trust, security, love. And I wasn't sure I'd ever get it back. Days passed, but the rage inside me never dulled. Every glance at Emma, every breath she took in my presence, was a reminder of her betrayal. I couldn't sleep in the same bed, couldn't sit at the same table without picturing her with someone else. The life I thought we had was nothing more than an illusion. She tried. I could see it in the way she hovered nearby, in the desperate attempts to engage me, in the forced smiles when she thought I was softening. But I wasn't. I was drowning in the images, the unanswered questions, the relentless ache in my chest. One evening, I left without a word. I needed air. Space. Something to erase the overwhelming need for revenge that pulsed beneath my skin. I walked until my legs ached, until my phone buzzed with her worried messages. I ignored them. I found myself at a bar, a quiet place, dimly lit, with a low hum of conversation. I sat alone, staring at the whiskey swirling in my glass, lost in thought. Rough night. I looked up. Lisa. She worked in my office, always friendly, always warm. She slid onto the stool beside me, her eyes filled with something I couldn't quite place. You could say that, I muttered. She tilted her head, studying me. You look like you need to talk. Or maybe just a distraction. A distraction. Exactly what Emma had chased for 4 years. Was that what I needed now? Something to numb the pain, to even the score? Lisa placed a hand on my arm, her touch feather-light. Come on, let's get out of here, she whispered. For a moment, I considered it. The idea of giving Emma a taste of her own medicine was tempting. To let her know what it felt like to be discarded, replaced, insignificant. But as Lisa leaned in, her lips a breath away from mine, something inside me shifted. I wasn't Emma. I wasn't a coward who hid behind lies and betrayal. I pulled back, shaking my head. I can't. Lisa sighed but nodded in understanding. She's lucky, she murmured before walking away. I sat there for a long time, staring at my untouched drink, my reflection staring back at me in the amber liquid. Emma had broken me, but I refused to let her turn me into someone I wasn't. When I finally returned home, she was waiting, eyes puffy from crying. Where were you? I met her gaze, my voice steady. For once, you get to wonder. Her expression crumbled. Good. Let her feel a fraction of what she had put me through. Let her drown in the uncertainty, the doubt, the fear. For the first time since her confession, I felt like I had control again. The morning light seeped through the blinds, casting long shadows across the bedroom. I sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the floor, my mind a battlefield of emotions. Emma lay behind me, curled beneath the sheets, though I knew she wasn't asleep. She had spent the night restless, stealing glances at me, waiting for some sign that I would forgive her. But forgiveness wasn't something she could beg for. It wasn't something she deserved. She stirred, sitting up cautiously. Did you come to a decision? Her voice was small, laced with uncertainty. I inhaled deeply, letting the silence stretch between us. Yeah. She straightened, hopeful. I want to fix this, whatever it takes. Therapy, separation, anything, just don't leave. I turned to her, really looking at her for the first time in weeks. The woman I had loved, the woman I had built a life with, had made a choice. Not once, not twice, but over and over for 4 years. She had stolen time from me, moments I could never reclaim. I shook my head slowly. You're only saying that now because you got caught. Her face fell, but she didn't deny it. I spent years giving you my best, I continued, my voice calm, controlled. I was loyal, devoted, blind to what was happening behind my back. And you threw it away because you were bored. I scoffed, standing up. Do you even realize what you took from me? Tears welled in her eyes. I know I hurt you. No, I interrupted. You didn't just hurt me. You shattered everything we built. Every moment we shared is tainted now. I'll never look at our wedding photos the same way. I'll never think of our anniversaries without wondering who you were with the night before. She reached for me, but I stepped back. I deserve better, I said simply. She started sobbing, her shoulders shaking. Please, don't do this. Don't throw us away. I let out a breath, shaking my head. I'm not the one who threw us away, Emma. You did. I grabbed my bag, the one I had packed the night before, and headed for the door. She called my name, desperation clear in her voice, but I didn't look back. The air outside felt different, lighter. I had spent weeks drowning in pain, anger, betrayal. But now, as I walked away from the woman who had lied to me for 4 years, I finally felt free. I wasn't broken. I wasn't defeated. I was starting over.